Yo, what's up, y'all? It's your man B. I am the brand once again, and I'm coming to you with the drum call. And I just want to ask the people out there, how often do you, challenge your own perspective? How often do you challenge your own opinions and thoughts? You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of us are very, strong in our opinions. A lot of us are very sure of ourselves as far as, our opinions and what we stand for ideologically and everything. But how many of us have ever challenged that? And I'm talking about, for example, if you're a diehard capitalist, how often have you read, any socialist material? How often have you, went and studied communism? How often have you studied the ills of capitalism? So that's what I'm asking right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, how often do we challenge our opinions? I've found, in my journey of consciousness and stuff like that, and gaining knowledge, that oftentimes, when I'm having discussions and stuff like that with people, they're very, one-sided. They, it's like they can't think of the other side, and during the discussion, I may give points that give credit to their side, even though I may disagree with their point, but I may give credit to, the good aspects of what I see in it. But then, at the same time, I would still tell you I disagree with the overall concept of whatever, we may be discussing, the idea we may be discussing. And when I do that, oftentimes it gets looked at as backtracking, but to me, it seems as if, that person just really didn't look at the issue from both sides. And, I may still have my own biases and, my own opinions that are steadfast regardless of anybody else's opinion on something. However, when it comes to, a lot of the stuff that I've discussed, or a lot of stuff that I've researched, I've made it a point to research both ends of the spectrum. For instance, when it comes to capitalism and socialism, since I've been in college, this has been a great point of contention when it came to debates of economics, politics, political agendas, the right versus left, all of this stuff, black nationalism, even black history, and because of this, because it was so ingrained in our culture, I wanted to really get details of, the foundation of these concepts, and the pros and cons from each one, coming from a Euro-minded perspective and from an Afrocentric perspective, because, and an Asian perspective as well, because, people all over the world have adopted these concepts, fought wars over these concepts. So I wanted to really get an idea of the foundations and the real principles behind these issues. So, like, for instance, I've read books by Ayn Rand. At the same time, I've read books by Upton Sinclair, like The Jungle by Upton Sinclair, and The Fountainhead, and Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. Two totally different historical fictions based upon socialism and capitalism, and they both on the opposite ends of the spectrum. With that, I've also read the Communist Manifesto. I've read Goldwater's the Conscious Conservative. I've read Keynes, Principles of Economics. I mean, a lot of these different books, are pretty much the foundations of these ideas, of these ideologies. Especially Marx, especially when it comes to Keynes. I mean, they're pretty much the foundation of these ideologies. And then on top of that, when you learn the foundation and read about the foundation, then you want to look at how it's been practiced around the world. I mean, when you look at history, and when you look at history economically, you can easily make your decisions, or the pros and cons, or who is better at what and who is worse at what. But again, this is all for you to formulate a knowledgeable opinion, an opinion based off of the facts rather than how you feel. Because if you don't challenge your prevailing perspective, then you'll never know if you're really in a bubble or not. I mean, it's different. I mean, I understand people travel around the world, and a lot of times people see the best of the country that they traveling to, but they don't really get to feel the whole lifestyle of that country that they're traveling to. So with me, I like to ask questions from people who lived it. I've asked questions of people who lived in Russia, who lived during Soviet Russia. I've asked questions of people who lived in Cuba. I've asked questions of people who are from Korea, China, all of these different places where socialism and communism prevailed. I mean, and then you see how the people living that were in, in capitalist industrial nations, and it's the development cycle is totally different. What's available to the people were totally different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a reason why most economists do not adopt a socialist ideal anymore. But what I mean, I'm not here to convince you. I'm just asking, how do you challenge your prevailing opinions? I'm just using that as an example. Another example may be when growing up, I hear all this stuff about Rome, and the evils of Rome, the evils of white people, the evils of this and that, Europeans and this and that. So I took it upon myself, and I started internalizing a lot of that. But I took it upon myself to actually, read about these people, these ancient civilizations that I've been hearing so much about, these claims I've been hearing so much about, and I've learned a hell of a lot, that changed my opinions of ancient civilizations, and, opened my perspective on, the relations between different peoples back in the day. So all this is to say is, challenge your perspective sometimes. Challenge your way of thinking. You know, you may learn something about yourself. You may learn something new. But either way, it's all growth. It's your man B. I am the brand. I'm with the drum call, and I'm outie. Peace.